In front of me is a brand new lens. Even I have not seen it before and I'm very excited about this. This is the Tamron 35-150mm F2 to F2.8. No, if I'm not wrong, what? Di3 VXD lens. It has a fluorine coating. It has extreme torque drive, which I believe is the newer drive from Tamron. But overall, 35-150, almost, wait, not almost, it is more than 4 times zoom. And this is a f2 to f2.8 lens. Now, the box isn't really huge. I was expecting something larger. So, together with you, let's take a look at this lens. I will box open it up, put it on my Sony A1 here, take a few test shots, upload to give you guys see how I feel about this lens, and this will be a really true first, not even impression, first reaction. Let's take a look at this lens here. Now, Tamron on general usually give very little thing with their lenses, and this is pretty much true. This is all the paper, it seems. Let me open it up. There is no bag or case. It's quite surprising. By the way, this lens is on loan to me by Slash Distribution. They were kind enough to borrow me this lens, and this is really brand new. This is also the set that will be on sale in the future, and it costs, I think, 2,699 Sing dollars. I do not know exactly what's the street price yet, but it's not even on sale yet. I mean, you have to wait till October 28 to actually even purchase this lens off the shelf. And you can say that today is truly a first look. I have to put everything back nicely. Take out the lens. Let me get rid of the back box first. And here is the lens itself. Now, I'm putting it low because I have a close-up camera. You can actually take a look at this lens while I turn it around now. Now, firstly, I can tell you that this lens is quite big and it's quite heavy, but definitely, not the most unwieldy lens. I mean, it is lighter than my 28-70 f2 Canon lens. This is, if I'm not wrong, let's take a look. 82mm filter thread. It has a hood that is actually button locked, so you have to press a button to release it. I like it. I prefer this over the friction because petal hoods tend to get turned slightly, in the friction hood, and then it will cause vignetting. So I prefer buttons. I lock it. And then let's take a look at this lens. Now this lens, firstly, as I said, not really heavy. So there is a rubber lining here, so it shows that there is some sort of weather sealing to this lens. But weirdly, there is some sort of a connection port here. I'm not sure whether you can see it. Let me put it under my camera here. There's some sort of connection port here. I do not know what it does. I guess it's some sort of a port to update the lens or something, but it's exposed. There is no cover to it, so I'm not really sure does it affect the overall lens capability to resist weather and stuff. Now, in terms of the buttons, there is 3 buttons. 1, 2, 3. And 3 switches. There is a custom 1, 2, 3. I'm not too sure. I've never seen a lens with this before, so I'm not too sure what it does. There is an AF/MF switch, and there is a lock switch. Now, with such a lock switch, normally it implies that this lens do extend when zooming. So let's take a look at this lens. And you can obviously see it's extending. So this is a lens that extends. And it goes from 35-150mm, as you can see. Not a very big turn. Quite a lot of strength required to turn from about 85 to 150, but before that is quite low friction. But that's okay. Then this is, of course, a mirrorless lens, so there is no friction on the front focusing wheel itself. It's literally free turning here. Not the most exciting focusing ring ever. But yeah, that's about it. This is the physical exterior, 82mm thread, fluorine coating, and everything else. So let's take a look at how this lens, feels like on my camera. And not only that, because this is a variable aperture, let's take a look at what is the various aperture that changes according to the zoom itself. Now, this is the Sony A1. We can also have a first impression of the focus. Now, firstly, the lens mounts nicely on the Sony A1. No issues. And it's not like super heavy. I can hold with one hand. Definitely still lighter than my 28-70 f2. So this is a f2 to f2.8. But most importantly, 4 times zoom, 35-150. 4 times zoom. I'm really impressed by that. Okay, let's take a look at the aperture itself. So I will also upload the photos that I take now to let you guys see. I will just stop down the various aperture and then let you guys take a look. So this is f2. f2. Now let me turn slowly at around, let's see, 40 mm. It turns to f2.2. Let me take a photo for you guys. And then let's continue turning. Let's see, around 60 mm, it turns to f2.5. And then continue zooming. At about, I'm not so sure, like 80 mm, it turns into f2.8. And let me turn all the way to 135. Let's take a shot here. And then 150 mm here, also f2.8. Now, I'm not really sure the image quality. This lens has no image stabilizer, so whatever it's using is actually based on the A1's image stabilization plus my hands on the table. So let me take one more time of the 150 mm shot, and I will choose the sharper one for you guys. Now, the buttons are actually pre-programmed to something. I'm not really sure. It's getting very irritating to me. Yep. Okay, let me take one more time. Okay, so I upload all these shots later to let you guys see. Take a look at the link below. It will contain the high-res unedited shots that I take just now on the various aperture changes, and goes from 35, 40, and if I'm not wrong, 50. Is it 35, 40, 60, 80, 135, 150, and it changes aperture at 40 to f2.2, 60 f2.5, and 80 f2.8, which is okay, you know, really. Most importantly, it is 150 mm at f2.8, and at 35 mm where it matters, f2, and 50 mm, which is a common aperture that a lot of people use, is still f2.2, which means this is pretty much all your basic primes into one. Very impressive, if you ask me. Of course, you know, the image quality is in the pudding. I have not seen the image quality before. I'm just trying it now. It looks pretty sharp. You know, the A1 does zoom in quite a bit. It looks pretty sharp here. And I can't see any noticeable chromatic aberration from the silver. I hope that this is actually true. It doesn't seem to have much chromatic aberration. A little bit, I guess. I'm not too sure of the image quality. You guys take a look at the photo and then tell me how you feel about the image quality itself. I mean, I'm just shooting the nitro tag if you are interested. I'm zooming right in the center at the nitro tag word for my video head. So take a look at the image quality there. Now, let's take a look at the autofocus. I mean, I can't show you the videos on autofocus because I didn't connect this to any monitor. But let me show you how fast it focuses from this thing to my camera to this thing to my camera. I'll just take a few shots too. Let me see at AFC. It's pretty fast, you know. I mean, I can't show you really. If you've seen closely, my finger moves down. That is focusing. It's focusing really quickly from such a close distance at 150 mm to the monitor right in front of me. In fact, let me take a shot of the monitor to let you guys see what it is like. So, you know, overall, I think the autofocus seems to be pretty reliable, and also it's quite quiet. I mean, you probably can hear it booming around with the mic on top here, but other than that, you should not be able to hear much. I mean, overall, I think that the autofocus is quite impressive, quite fast. So I have to try in real life to really appreciate it, but at least my initial testing seems to be quite good. The initial impression should be quite good. I mean, this is the A1, and then this is a brand new VXD motor, their fastest motor on their lenses. And the last Tamron lens did not disappoint me. I don't expect this to disappoint me either. Now, overall, this is of course a first look, a first reaction to this lens. I'm a portrait photographer. I love this lens. I mean, 35 f2 2.2, 85 2.8, which I probably will ignore. 85 2.8 doesn't sound very impressive. But 150 f2.8, that is quite on par with everything out there. So overall, I'm really excited to take it out for a test. I will only have this lens for over a weekend. So if you guys got any question, do ask me below. Leave your comments and I can try this lens out over a few portrait shoots. But I can tell you, I'm really excited. I mean, this is a perfect range for studio, for outdoors, and with 150mm f2.8, I expect to have pretty much good bokeh, which I can't try now. So that's probably for my outdoor shoot this coming Saturday and Sunday. I'll post some photos then, I'll do a review. If you really want to know how I feel about this lens at the end of the weekend, do check out probably on Sunday night or maybe Monday night. I will give you a full review of this lens, how I felt over the weekends, and that may actually determine whether you will want to buy the lens or not. I mean, it's still on pre-order now to 27 October, and 28 October, this lens will officially be launched at, I believe, 2,699 Sing dollars. I'm not so sure about the US price, but I'll put a screenshot here. Overall, if you are a portrait photographer, my initial reaction and impression of this lens, pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. And that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed this short little video of my first reaction, impression of this Tamron lens, the 35 to 150mm f2 to f2.8 Di3, which is digital version 3 VXD lens. I'm thinking this is probably one of the most impressive lens this year. So let's try out over the weekend and I'll get back to you again. Bye bye.